is amazing. Jesus is awesome. Jesus is great. In fact, Jesus is the greatest. And one reason He's the greatest is He's the great healer. Nobody could heal the sick like Jesus Christ. Jesus healed people not just to show off, but He healed people because He cared about them. It says that He was moved with compassion, and that's why He healed them. Jesus healed people because He had a willingness. A man came and said, "If you will, Jesus, you can heal me." And Jesus said, "I am willing. Be healed." Jesus doesn't want us sick. He doesn't want us in bondage. Jesus healed people as a response to their faith. He said, if you believe, and even a small amount of faith the size of a mustard seed, but if you take that faith and put it all on Jesus, you can be healed. Jesus heals in response to the faith of others. It's amazing, the story of the four guys who let their friend down through the roof of the house, their paralyzed friend, so that he could get to Jesus. They did everything they could to bring that man to Jesus, and Jesus said He healed that man for their faith, because of their faith. There's two accounts of Jesus healing other people, raising one of them from the dead because of the faith of another. So sometimes we're healed because of our faith, sometimes we're healed because of the faith of someone else. Jesus said He healed as a display of His authority, so people would know that He is the Son of God and He has the authority to forgive sins. He has authority over sickness and death and disease. Jesus said that His healing was included in the atonement. It was part of why He came, part of His death, His burial, His resurrection, to bring healing. By His stripes, we are healed, it says. And Jesus said in John chapter 11, His healing fits the larger plan of God. He didn't go and heal Lazarus right away. In fact, He let Lazarus die and be in the tomb for several days. He said, I'm doing this so that you will see the glory of God. Maybe God's not healing you when you want to be healed. Maybe God's not healing you the way you want to be healed. Understand that if God is not acting in your behalf, it could be because He's up to something bigger than just you and your healing. He's up to something bigger than you can see right now. Now, the last thing I want you to see about the healing ministry of Jesus is that He followed no particular pattern. He didn't set it up a certain way. You didn't have to get in line in a certain way and come up a certain way, and He'd touch you a certain way. Sometimes He healed people with a touch. Sometimes He healed people just by speaking a word. Sometimes He healed people when they touched Him, when He was touched. A woman just touched the hem of His garment. Sometimes when He cast demons out of somebody, healing came as a result. Maybe if you've ever cast demons out of somebody, you've seen that happen. When the enemy was the one causing the illness. One case, He spit on a blind man's eyes so that he could be healed. That was unusual. Even more unusual, He made mud and wiped it in a blind man's eyes to heal him. That's really unusual. Another case, he put His hands in the ears of a deaf man and then spit and touched the tongue of a man that was mute and couldn't speak in order to heal that man. I don't understand exactly what He was doing, but I do understand He didn't ever do it exactly the same way. And in one case, He healed out of an act of their obedience. He told the 10 lepers, just go show yourself to the priest. They still had leprosy, but then when they turned to go and obey Him, then they were healed. Their healing came as an act of obedience. Maybe the issue in your life right now isn't your healing. Maybe the issue in your life right now is your obedience. And God's wanting you to obey something. God's wanting you to trust Him, not just for your healing, not just faith to be healed, but faith that He knows what He's doing, even if it doesn't make sense at the time, even if it's odd the way He's working in your life. Maybe God's not bringing your healing right now because He's up to something bigger. You got to trust Him. The point of all of this until we get to heaven and we're completely healed is that you trust Him. And you can trust Him because He's the great healer. He will ultimately heal you, and Jesus is the greatest.